What's up, girly pops and pork chops? My name is Trace, and I'm here with
Seth, who is currently dying. Why was that how you started it?
I don't know. Okay, so it's because I'm playing The Sims, and so first of all, welcome into Rank Masters.
Hi. We're not even saying anything.
Yeah, we're a podcast that we rank internet lists. We are the critics of internet lists.
Yeah, anyway, we are. We said it.
So I've been playing The Sims, and and what I do when I play The Sims is I like to create my friends, and I just let them live their little lives, right?
Yeah.
And so I made you in The Sims.
Yes.
You, and you were my roommate in The Sims.
You as in me, Seth, not you as in the audience member currently listening to this.
Yes, Seth.
That would be a little
weird. I made Seth into The Sims, and we were roommates for a while, but then like he met this nice lady named Gracie Blanchard or Blanchard.
Wait, you didn't tell me that I met someone named Gracie. That's different.
Why?
I don't know. That just sounds like a strange name.
Gracie is a wonderful name.
Sure.
Shout out all my Gracies out there.
Mm-hmm.
So he married this wonderful woman named Gracie, and I died alone. But so I never had a partner at the end of the world. I asked my friend to have what's called a science baby with me.
Oh my God.
And that's how my baby Beyblade was born. But anyway, Seth with Gracie had two twin daughters named Scott and Jason.
Yeah, obviously.
And then Scott, one of his daughters, went and married this other girl that was a daughter of another friend or whatever. And they got together. And so I was like, well, shit, now I've got to ask these two what they want their daughters to be named. So I went and I asked Seth, and he's like, I want the granddaughter to be named Girly Pop. And so then I went to Soba, who is our other friend, and I was like, what do you want the granddaughter to be named? And he said Pork Chop. So then they had two daughters, and so now they're Girly Pops and Pork Chops.
Did I actually tell you Girly Pop?
Yes, you did.
I don't remember that. I remember Scott and Jason. I do not remember Girly Pop.
Yeah, well, because you also had a son like on your deathbed, and his name is Guinevere, dear. So.
Oh, okay. I do remember Guinevere too. Yes. Okay. I don't remember Girly Pop at all.
Yeah. So Girly Pop is your granddaughter.
Holy shit. Okay.
You have two granddaughters.
I guess I have
Girly Pop and Pork Chop. No, you're dead.
Oh, I'm dead now? Okay, good. You know what? That would explain why I can't remember them, at least.
We're both dead. So, anyway, welcome into Rank Masters. That's the Sims update. So today we're talking about, not The Sims, we're talking about archaeological discoveries.
Well, if we did an episode on The Sims, what would it be about? Like,
I don't know, best Sims expansions.
Have you played any of them? I don't have any of the expansions. I only play base Sims because I'm basic.
I very legally have a lot of the DLC content, wink wink.
Yep.
And did not find a website that hosted them and downloaded them. That is not something I've done. Wink wink.
I mean, there's a lot of websites out there that have, archives of pretty much all the software out there imaginable. So if you need, some extra of the expansions, I'm sure we can find them for you.
Yeah, it's not that difficult actually to do it. I've heard.
So you've heard, yeah. To our understanding, supposedly.
So I'm a man of many interests. Obviously, The Sims is one of them.
Yeah, we started off the episode talk for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the last update, my daughter that I had in my loneliness, Beyblade, just had her first child, and his name is Bakugan. So,
of course, as would make sense.
But we're talking about archaeological discoveries, specifically from archaeology.org, the top 10 archaeological discoveries of 2022.
Which I don't know archaeological discoveries made the news that I heard. So we'll see how interesting they are.
Yeah, I always find this stuff interesting. Like I said, I'm a man of many interests.
Yes,
I love ghosts. I love The Sims. I love Pokemon. But I also like archaeology. I never wanted to be an archaeologist because I'm like, that's too much fucking work.
Oh my God, yeah.
But I like learning about past things.
Yeah. I feel like now we've had at least one episode to discuss literally every single one of your interests. So everyone who's been like continually listening to this podcast now knows literally everything there is to know about you. So
I don't know. I think there's still some hidden ones in there.
No, I don't think so.
I
I feel like within 6 episodes we've summarized everything that is Trace, and then the extra episodes are more information. That's not necessary, but good to know.
Really? Am I really so easy that my entire personality can be discerned in 6 episodes?
Well, I mean, 6 episodes is still like 10 hours.
Well, yeah. But anyway, top 10 archaeological discoveries, and sadly this is one of those lists that isn't technically a list.
Does it have 10 entries?
It has 10 entries and it says top 10.
Gotcha.
It literally says top
it.
10, but it's not a list, so we're just going to go in order of when they say.
100% honest.
How they have them on this website.
Last episode was also not like a ranked list, but we're titling it like one anyway.
If they title it like one, we get to title it like
we
one.
Get to I mean, there's no reason we can't title it like one anyway. This is our podcast. We can do whatever we want with it. We could clickbait the hell and back, baby.
So, first critique, there's no ranked list.
There's no ranked list. Tragic.
I want to know which one of these is the most important. I don't want to have to discern that for myself. I want someone to tell me.
Well, hey, you know what? Maybe by the end of it, as someone who's not familiar with any of these, I will tell you which of these I think were most important and least important. I don't think I'll be able to put like all 10 in a rank, but I will be able to tell you most and least. Probably.
So, coming up at number 10. Number 10.
All right.
We have the inside a pharaoh's coffin.
Ooh.
Is what they're calling it.
Okay.
It's not every day that scientists have the opportunity to look inside the coffin of a member of ancient Egyptian royalty, and to do so without opening it might seem impossible. But the sarcophagus containing the pharaoh Amenhotep I has now been virtually opened and the mummy inside virtually unwrapped.
Virtually unwrapped. Okay.
So it's revealing a wealth of new
wealth
of new information about one of Egypt's great rulers.
Does it say which one? Or I assume they know.
Amenhotep the First.
Perfect. Love that.
Amenhotep.
Oh, you said that already. I'm dumb.
Yes.
Words are hard.
Amenhotep the First mummy, which was found in 1881, is one of very few known royal mummies that have not been unwrapped in modern times. During the Victorian era, wealthy patrons threw many exclusive mummy unwrapping parties. Have you heard about this? Did you hear about like mummy craze?
What?
Yeah, like okay, there was like a mummy craze, but there was also like Egyptian fever or whatever it was called, where like
I did know about that.
Not billions, sorry, like dozens of people rushed to Egypt to like dig up shit, and they like completely ruined archaeological excavations for many sites for years to come because they use like explosives and hard pickaxes. But go ahead, sorry.
It definitely reminds me a lot of like the gold rush in California. You know, like the moment someone sees that there is a large amount of something that they could potentially get their hands on and maybe sell, the whole world goes crazy. You know, I get it. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like over
rush.
in Victorian England, they did a bunch of shitty stuff. Like they said that like mummy wrappings were like good for like a substitution for newspapers for a while.
What the fuck?
You're right. But then there's like also ground mummies was also like a medicine that you could get. Yeah, it was rough. All right. Like they did a lot of shit to mummies in Victorian England. Amenhotep the First mummy was not found in its original burial location, but in the ancient town of Deir el Bahari.
Okay.
Where it was part of a cache of mummies, many of them royal as well.
Nice.
These mummies had been collected during the 21st dynasty.
Gotcha. Okay.
So cool. They found what the discovery here is not the mummy, but it's a mummy that they've had for a long time, was not unwrapped, and they didn't want to unwrap it, so then they gave it a little x-ray.
Yeah. So it's literally just that they did a virtual unwrapping of.
They did a virtual unwrapping party.
Interesting. I mean, you know what? Now that's cool that we have that technology. I don't know what that's really. I don't know if that counts as a discovery though. Because it's not really new information. I guess it's new to see what this guy's face looked like or something like that. But I don't know.
The biggest thing that a part of this that I read is that they learned more and confirmed more about how mummies were prepared for the afterlife.
Okay, that's good information to learn, though. I like that.
One of the things here that they say is like his neck had been broken, but like his priest had put the head back on and resealed it with resin.
So he was fucking decapitated?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, actually. Okay, they put his head back. That, you know what? Actually, that's kind of cool. Yeah, respect.
Yeah, they also said that there's like a bunch of gold amulets that were placed inside.
Makes sense.
This restores confidence in the goodwill of the priests to rebury the royal mummies to preserve them, contrary to modern allegations that the goal was to steal the ornaments.
Huh. Okay.
So people who don't understand mummies, I'm sorry, I'm skipping over a lot of stuff here.
No, it's okay. So, this is a learning episode.
Back in ancient Egypt, there was a lot of marauders and stealers and people, like, even back before there was the, like, Egyptian fever, there was already people in Egypt that were, like, using, like, royal mummy burials to steal from so that they had money to sell because the wealth inequality in ancient Egypt was huge.
Wow, what have I heard that before?
Right? So they started robbing the dead. And so what is happening here is his head was decapitated in one of those robberies. So the priest that reformed Amenhotep used resin to seal his head back on, added more gold to his wrappings, and pretty much resealed him again to hopefully prepare him for the afterlife. Okay. So what they're saying is that they've learned that there were at least some good priests that actually did this, and there was also some probably bad priests that still, like, when they were supposed to be tending to the body, just stole more stuff.
Makes sense. A little funky, but I get it. I understand.
And that's the Egyptians, baby.
That's the Egyptians, baby. Yeah. Well, I don't think he was a baby. I think he was an adult.
So the last line here was Amenhotep I mummy is the first example of this style of mummification, which later became standard for all ancient Egyptian mummies.
Gotcha. Because this is literally the oldest mummy. Or the oldest mummy wrapped in this style.
That name is reminding me of something.
Okay.
Who was the pharaoh?
He's probably one of the pharaohs. What
was the
Indiana Jones Prince of
Egypt?
Wait. Oh, do we really think that was like?
Oh, it's Ramses. Never mind. Yeah.
Well, what was their dad's name though? Because I don't remember their dad's name. I know Ramses was the brother in Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, Ramses. Oh my God, what is it?
Sorry, I'm
Seti, Pharaoh Seti the First.
Okay, gotcha. Huh.
Okay. For some reason I was like, wait, was that Amenhotep? But no, that was Pharaoh Seti the First, who gave birth. Seti the First gave birth. Another discovery that they made was ancient Egyptians learned how to impreg. So Seti the First gave birth to Ramses.
I love that so much. Yeah, okay, good to know. Neat.
Okay.
I just looked up Amenhotep in media, and it's all talking about, like, the unwrapping. So I'm guessing we didn't... I think he wasn't in any movies or anything like that.
Poor Amenhotep.
Amenhotep Bible. maybe that.
Wait, was Amenhotep in the Bible?
Amenhotep was the son of another Egyptian pharaoh named Amhos I. He came into power during the early part of the 15th century BC, which is where he's found on the biblical timeline. But
interesting.
Is he actually in the Bible, though? That's the thing. Because a lot of the pharaohs are in the Bible, you know?
So this could be completely bullshit, but I do remember hearing at one point that the first ever, like, body that they recovered that was mentioned in the Bible, like an actual body of someone that was mentioned in the Bible,
interesting,
was Amun-Herkhepeshep, which was the son of Ramses from Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be the son that was killed to the plagues, right? What are you laughing at?
The way you phrase that, yeah, Ramses from Prince of Egypt, as opposed to Ramses from the real... The way you said that is like saying Sans Undertale, you know? Like,
Yeah. Ramses, Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, obviously.
Like, I think I'm saying his son's name right. It's like Amun Her Kepershep.
I have no fucking clue.
Kepershep.
I'm American. I don't speak Egyptian.
But anyway, like they found his body, but he was supposed to be the firstborn son that was killed during the plagues, right?
Yeah.
But they found him and he was like 25.
I mean, firstborn sons can be adult. They could be old.
Right? So it destroyed the misconception that he died when he was like 12.
I didn't know that conception existed.
Maybe it was popularized by the hit movie. I don't know if you've heard of this one, Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, the one that Ramses is from, obviously.
Yes, the one that came up with Ramses.
Yeah, I know when I was in church, we never talked about like the ages or anything like that. We just know that he was the son of the pharaoh at the time, and that's.
Oh, did you also notice like every time, like in church, like people always say pharaoh, like that's his name.
Yeah, they'll
always say he escaped Pharaoh, and I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about?
I don't think that's just an in church thing. I think that's how just pharaohs are referred to in the Bible. Like they're very rarely named. Like a lot of times it's just king or pharaoh or something. Like most of the time royalty is not mentioned by name unless they're like King David.
But they always say the positive. King.
Yeah,
but like
with
for
pharaoh,
some reason it just says Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Like it's his name. Like it's just his fucking name. And church people always say that. But like you'll listen to like an archaeologist and they'll be like, oh, he was the Pharaoh. They wouldn't say he was Pharaoh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they won't say whatever. You get what I mean.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 9.
we got stun locked on Egypt for too long. Well, unless this next one's also Egypt. I don't know. Aztec offerings. That's not Egypt, baby. Woo! Let's go.
We're in the Americas.
Yay! Unfortunate.
Innovative preservation techniques and advanced microscopy.
Okay.
Is that a word?
Did I say that right? Microscope. Yeah, I've heard that word before.
Are revealing new insights into the creation and symbolic significance of a remarkably well-preserved collection of 2,550 wooden artifacts unearthed by the team of archaeologists led by Leonardo Lopez Lujan at the foot of the Temple Mayor in Tenochtitlan.
Okay.
The capital city of the Aztecs.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
If you didn't know what Tenochtitlan was.
I had no clue. I've never heard that word before.
So Tenochtitlan, I believe, is the one that is underneath Mexico City.
That would make sense. That's sad.
Which, if you ever watched The Three Caballeros...
No.
The old Disney movie.
We need to stop tying this to animated media, Trace.
This is how people learn, damn
Ramses isn't from the Prince of Egypt.
But I'm pretty sure that's the one where they're like, that's what the Mexico flag is like an eagle on a cactus catching a snake. And it's like wherever they found that's where they build their city. Well, they found it, and it happened to be in the middle of a lake. So they're like, well, fuck it. We said that's where we'd build our city. So they built their city in the middle of a lake.
We built our city. Interesting.
And so I believe that's what Tenochtitlan was.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Fact check me. Do not take me at face value here, listener.
Facts. Facts are illegal.
But they finally not as in like, oh, they finally did this. Like as in they finally, like very fine details. They finally carved objects which included scepters, ear flares, nose and finger rings.
Ringer fings.
And miniature masks and weapons, which were buried from 1486 to 1502 as ritual offerings.
Okay.
All the items are associated with deities the Mexico venerated in the temple, the god of war, okay.
Interesting name.
Huitzilopochtli.
Just say it fast and with confidence. People will believe you.
And the rain god, Tlaloc.
Okay.
Those are two very different names.
Yeah.
Tlaloc, easy to pronounce. This other one, Huitzilopochtli. Pocatelli?
I'm sure it'd be easier if you're more familiar with, languages around that area.
Do you like how I don't stumble?
Americans.
Do you like how I don't stumble on Tenochtitlan? Because I've heard that name before.
Yeah,
but
probably.
This other god, I don't know. I'm sorry about that, man.
Hey, it happens. Language is hard.
But yeah, so in the course of their ongoing efforts to stabilize the artifacts and prevent further damage, the people there submerge them in increasing concentrations of a synthetic sugar mixture, which displaces the water in the wood's cell structure. They then dry the artifacts and remove any excess sugar. This complex multi-stage conservation process can take up to a year to complete.
Damn!
But yeah, so they're finding a bunch of artifacts over in Mexico City.
Okay. And they're just...
I did look it up. Tenochtitlan is underneath Mexico City.
Nice. Okay, good you got that information out for you. So
I do not know still if it's the one that was like the rock, the cactus on the rock with the eagle eating a snake. I don't know if that's the same one, but that is a myth that exists.
Interesting. So I think I need you to summarize this because I'm not 100% sure I fully understood the story of this discovery. What exactly did they discover? Because it sounded like they knew of the artifacts beforehand. It sounded like what they discovered was some like new technique or something. I don't know.
So from what I understand is the technique is that they found these items well preserved in like this really moist mud.
Yeah.
So like if they stayed in the mud, they're fine, but a lot of the artifacts would dry out and then they would crumble and then they would die.
Okay.
Not die, they would disappear. Like you couldn't have the artifacts anymore.
Yeah.
They just fall apart. So the discovery, I think, is this way to preserve them.
Okay, that makes sense.
The article is not very clear in and of itself, but that's what I got from reading it.
Interesting. Good to know, at least. Okay, that makes sense now that you have summarized it to me. And if you're wrong, I will blame you.
Yeah, so the quote that they have here is, all of these soft woods that made it easy to carve these very detailed miniature objects. We think that certain species of wood were chosen for both their physical qualities and their symbolic meanings. For example, that one god was associated with mesquite and Tialok was with pine. So they're just explaining that it's very soft wood in moist conditions that fell apart easily. So they're having to learn ways to make sure that they're preserved for future generations. And
Gotcha.
That's what they're doing.
That makes sense. Okay.
Was that interesting to anyone? Is anyone learning?
I think
tap,
that was
tap, tap on
interesting.
tap on the board. Class, are you still there?
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm paying attention.
I you know what? I appreciate archaeology. I think it's so cool and fun.
It's neat. I enjoy it.
I'm going to ask that Seth puts up images of these objects.
Oh God!
So that people can see them if you watch the video.
Edit? How
I'm gonna
dare
make you
make
edit.
me do work? Ugh.
Because they're very interesting. Anyway, hey, Seth, I'm going to ask you.
Hi, yes.
Have you ever heard of the Venus statue?
I have not, no.
The big, voluptuous woman with mad titties.
I've heard of Venus. I haven't heard of the statue.
So you've never seen the depiction of what I look like in my dreams?
No, I have not.
Can you please look up?
What am I looking up?
The statue of Venus.
The statue of Venus. Oh.
Because I want you to look at it and see what I'm talking about.
Tig old biddies.
Tig old biddies.
Hell yeah.
So this is one of the oldest statues that have ever been discovered. That's why it's so significant.
Gotcha.
But it has been discovered for a very long time. So this wasn't discovered last year. This is something we've known about for many years. So can you guess what the discovery is?
No.
They blasted it with a bunch of particles to see what was inside.
Of course. Because that makes logical sense. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so for more than a century, since 30,000-year-old the stone sculpture known as the Venus of Willendorf was found on the banks of the Danube River in its eponymous village. The person who wrote this really likes their fucking dictionary, I guess.
Well, you did go to archeology.org. I mean, I figured it's gonna be kind of verbose with the words they use.
Many unknowns have swirled around the 4.3-inch tall figurine, but the lingering mystery of where the material used to make the sculpture originated has now been solved, opening new avenues of research into how far the people of the Gravation period, I think that's how that's pronounced, traveled.
Interesting.
So using a technique called high-resolution microcomputed tomography, led by a team that I'm not going to pronounce, several other figurines with which it was found were made of ivory, but Venus was fashioned from oolic limestone, a type of sedimentary rock whose composition varies greatly by location.
Okay.
So the layman term of this is that they blasted it with particles and they discovered exactly where the rock came from that they carved this statue from.
Gotcha.
And by using that, they were able to discover just how nomadic the people who made the statue were.
Understood.
That's the discovery.
That's... Sure. Okay. I don't know. This I'm not interested in this, actually. I like finding new things, not finding abnormal facts about things we'd already found, you know? They're important parts of archaeology. I fully get it, but like it's different finding a new artifact than actually like, wow, this artifact's made out of a certain type of stone. Whoa, who'd have guessed?
What if they blasted it and they found like a tiny alien skeleton in there?
See, that would be fun though. I'd like that.
No, like what if they did that? Like what would that mean for us?
Who knows? Who even knows anymore?
But you're telling me that you don't think it's interesting that the Venus was blasted by a bunch of particles and they're like, wow, it's made from this stone.
Not really, no.
Well, that's great, because coming up next, we have the world's oldest straw.
Okay. All right.
A novel interpretation of 8 gold and silver tubes discovered in southern Russia dating to around 3,500 BC suggests that may be the world's oldest drinking straws.
Interesting.
That is the discovery, is they found these tubes.
They found tubes.
That are like actually like very intricately carved, but they think that they may have just been drinking straws. That is their assumption.
Made out of gold and silver?
Yeah, like gold and silver was just very abundant back in the day. Huh. They were just making everything about that.
See, I would have thought that like the earliest drinking straws were made out of like carved out bones. You know?
That would be smart.
That would make logical sense.
But I think back in the day when you were just killing things with bones, I think you just drank out of your hands.
That's such a waste of blood, though.
Blood?
Or a waste of whatever you're drinking. I don't know. In my head, for some reason, you're drinking.
Why would you drink blood?
Well, you're already drinking through a bone.
Why would you?
I don't know. I'm tired.
The idea of someone being like, "Man, I'm thirsty," and scooping up some blood. Like, did you think that people were just crazy back in the day?
No, I mean, blood has uses. There's reasons to drink whatever.
You could like cook with it. I don't think anyone was just straight up drinking blood.
All right, fair enough.
No, imagine the rich, like, I'm assuming rich, I don't know, the person from Russia being like, bring me my straw. And it's like, it's probably like 20 pounds. Okay, maybe not 20 pounds, but like 5 pound straw contraption. It's like, I'm gonna drink out of this. No, but literally, if you look at them, like, they are very intricately carved.
Huh.
Like, some of them have multiple tubes that go up through the same straw. So they're like, there's gaps in it. It's like a crazy straw.
Aw, cute. I like crazy straws.
It's like the oldest Chuck E. Cheese in the world.
No!
Were there crazy straws at Chuck E. Cheese?
Huh?
I never went to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid.
Really?
I don't know if there was crazy straws there.
I think there were. I don't know for sure.
Did you go to Chuck E. Cheese?
I did go to Chuck E. Cheese, but I don't
Tell me about it. I was going to say, tell me about it. What was your experiences like?
There was one game where you would stomp on spiders, and that was like the main thing that I did. I did that in the jump rope game often. But that's like all I remember from Chuck E. Cheese. I'm gonna lie. Most of my childhood memories are gone. Like I don't have them anymore. So maybe I need an archaeologist to dig up my brain. That's kind of sad, actually. I'm sorry for bringing the mood down.
No, I'm gonna go back to these tubes here. The tubes are found alongside one of 3 skeletons in a burial mound known as Mykop Kurgan, which was excavated in 1897.
Okay.
The richly furnished mound was also contained hundreds of other artifacts, including ceramic vessels, metal cups, weapons, and beads made of semi-precious stones and gold. The tubes, which are hollow, measure... Holy shit, maybe it is 20 pounds.
What?
They measure up to 3.7 feet
Jesus! Long. That's a long straw.
That's not a straw, that's a bong.
Oh my god, was it... Drugs existed?
I think they were probably smoking something out of this. Who thought these were straws?
Hold on, so you said it had other... I'm looking up a picture now. I see the other holes that you were talking about. That might have been a bog.
I think this was just a fucking, like, do you know what a spoon pipe is?
Yeah, I think this is just straight up
I think that's what that is. I think they just burned some stuff in there and smoked it. I don't think this was a straw. I think this archaeology team needs some more stoners on it because, like, wait 1 second. To test his hypothesis, he focused his investigation on the tube's silver tips, which were perforated in a manner that might help filter a beverage's impurities. So you can imagine, what would this fit in? Were they just like shoving it in a river?
Possibly. I think this was... I mean, the fact that they made it out of silver and gold, they're willing to put up with how heavy it is for fucking 3 feet long. Like, Jesus, that's a
3.7 feet, and they're shoving this thing probably in like a river and going... Like, can you imagine the lip strength, the sucking? Whoever used this straw has got to give some slappy head.
Oh my fucking god, Trace! Why?
Like, it's not a straw.
Every episode of this show's been horny so far. We've had at least one horny. Yeah, you're right.
I am not gonna lie. This straw is the reason that I wanted to do this episode.
Really? You saw this straw and we're like, "Fuck it, we're doing this now."
I thought it would be so silly because I thought it was like an actual straw, and I was like, "Oh, they were just like us. They used their straws to slurp their water."
And but now here is a fucking bong.
They're just like us. They smoked their weed out of 3.7 long metal tubes.
That's so long and so unnecessary. Okay, interesting.
Coming in at whatever number we're on.
5. I think
we have the Jabal al-Qadeshi Kashashabia, whatever.
You doing okay there, buddy?
It's the Neolithic hunting shrine.
Okay, gotcha.
So in the deserts of southeastern Jordan around 9,000 years ago, hunters erected a stone shrine that is one of the earliest ritual structures ever unearthed. A team led by archaeologist Mohammed Turawe of, what is this, the Al Hussein bin Talal University.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they just found a really cool shrine, and it's kind of scary looking.
It is kind of scary looking. I'm
Are you looking at
the website now since you sent it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, literally looking at some of these stones, they're all just a bunch of stone faces, and they're kind of scary looking.
Damn, they look stoned.
They do look really high.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't even get the pun. I was looking at this one stone at the very top photo.
Though. Yeah.
Like his huge bulging eyes, just like wide as can be. This man is seeing things.
I love the goddamn mustache they gave him.
Oh my god. Sorry, the faces on these are so stupid.
They're very
silly. Imagine like a stone carved out like. What is that one like Wojak kind of looking thing like with dehydrated?
Oh my, yes. Okay, I know what you're thinking.
And like it's usually like the yes honey or whatever it is.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's what most of these stones look like. um,
these are cursed, but also kind of cool. I like it.
The team previously established that the kites near the shrine date to the Neolithic period, so 12,000 to 7,000 years ago in Jordan, and have now discovered clear evidence of the shrine's connection to these enormous hunting installations. The shrine was built to the scale of a kite. I don't know what a kite is.
I don't know what a kite is either. Well, I mean...
Desert kites consist of pairs of rock walls that extend across the landscape, often over several miles. There you go.
Good to know.
The team also unearthed a large stone altar with a number of incisions near a hearth. One hypothesis is that the stone altar was used for butchering gazelle carcasses in the context of ritual activities carried out within the shrine. So something I know about archaeology...
Yeah. Okay, go for it.
It's like something I know about archaeology is if they don't know what something is, they usually call it a ritual.
I mean... Pretty much anything can be described as a ritual, but if you use the word ritual, it makes it sound like it's about, like, a god or something.
Yeah. Well, that's like... And then someone else explained to me and was like, yeah, if someone, like, excavated us and they found a toothbrush, they would say that cleaning our teeth would be, like, a ritual for us.
Uh-huh.
So that's what they're... So, like, it's also a cop-out, but it's also a cop-in.
True. Yeah, it's the anthropology thing. I've been told a lot about, like, if you try to examine our culture or just American culture in general, you'd see a lot of, like, really weird rituals and strange things that, like, we do that seem like it's an act of worship, but in reality, it's just some other miscellaneous reason. Like,
have I told you how much I hate anthropology?
Yes, you and I have had that discussion.
We had the same anthropology class.
We've complained about the same professor multiple times.
Yes. But I also just hate anthropology on a whole.
I know.
It's so racist.
It really is.
It's like such a racist thing.
It's basically just forcing an American view on literally everything else that we encounter. I'm like, God damn, dude.
But then also saying that it's like fact.
Yeah.
Okay, let me speak my truth on this professor. I hate this man. So I had a professor my freshman year of college. I decided to take this like track thing that like you take two classes and then you take a third one and it lets you like discuss the two classes in context with each other.
Yes.
I think you and I both did the same thing.
We did, but we did different like tracks.
We did different tracks.
I think mine was like it was sociology and psychology were mine, and then yours were anthropology and something else.
And music.
And it's not connected in the slightest.
I mean, anthropology studies music a lot.
Yeah, but not that class. Not if we took the same class.
No. You are completely right. This class, it was interesting, but there's a few qualms I had with it. One, the professor was like, my office hours I used to run. So if you want to talk to me during my office hours, you have to walk around the park with me or run around the park with me.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
horrible.
Weird.
Like imagine a student with low mobility or like maybe a student breaks their leg and you're going to tell them they have to meet you at the park. Like there was no other way to contact him. He said specifically, if you want to talk to me, you have to go to the park and I'll be running around the edge. And you can just stop me and be like, I'm a student. Can we talk? And that's how he wanted his office hours to operate. I've since learned he was told he couldn't do it anymore.
He still did it by the time that I graduated.
Oh, really? Because I was told that he got in trouble for it. So he may have like added like a way that someone could request to speak to him in his office. But
oh no.
Yeah, not a cool guy. Mm-hmm. Also, he is a subscriber to a belief that humans used to hunt by running long distances, which
he really loves running,
which has apparently been debunked by most other like modern archaeologists and other professions. But he loves the idea so much that he still teaches it to his classes.
Yeah.
What? Like,
he doesn't talk about the controversy about it. He doesn't say that this has been debunked or anything like, or that he could have at least proposed the idea that like this is controversial or something. No, he's just like, yeah, this is the truth of how humans evolved. I'm like, no, that's not what the vast majority of anthropologists agree with. Do you know that he's a YouTuber now?
Ew, I mean that makes sense, but ew.
It's wild.
God, I hate this man.
Yeah.
And also, like, one time he told the entire class, he's like, if you can't get up without using your hands, you should just consider yourself having one foot in the grave.
That's so fucking
And I'm like, oh my God.
Like, yeah.
What? Like, there's literally a girl with a wheelchair right over there. And you're telling me that she's 1 foot in the grave?
It's absolutely
like, do you have
wild.
no self-awareness?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, coming in at number 6.
We're just going to move on from that.
He sucked. I really didn't like him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It was a bad experience. I think you had a much worse experience with him than I did, because I think I just kind of sat there and let whatever happened happen. But yeah, it was.
But
it was stressy and not fun.
I was a bright-eyed new freshman college student. I was critically thinking about everything this man told me. And I don't think that's what you were supposed to do in that class.
I
don't think he wanted to
kind of zone out and do your best to not care.
He did not want a single critical thought ever.
Yeah. Which is
coming in at number 6.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I keep on.
No, I was just gonna say it's unfortunate because like that's the opposite of what college is supposed to be. But
oh, absolutely.
Oh well. Anyway,
number 6.
I'm done interrupting you. Or am
earliest,
I? Am I?
Oh my God!
See, at some point this was strategic. All right.
Earliest my account. Shut up!
I yield the floor.
Earliest my calendar date.
Okay, now we have to talk. This is a podcast. We can't have dead air.
An inch-wide image of a deer's head discovered at the base of a pyramid in an ancient city of San Bartolo. A team including archaeologists Dave Stewart of the University of Texas at Austin and Skidmore's College.
Yeah.
Heather Hurst as 7 deer. The glyph represents a date that was painted around 250 BC as a part of a mural decorating one of the pyramid's interior walls. 11 fragments of the mural bearing early Maya writing have been found, but the 7 deer date is the only hieroglyphic inscription that has been deciphered thus far.
Okay.
The team believes the glyph was painted by a scribe working on an artistic and literary tradition that was already quite old by the 3rd century BC. The 7 deer date has a graceful calligraphic quality, says Hurst. Mm-hmm. You can see the delicate flicks of the brushwork used to paint it. Hurst explains that the day sign functioned as a kind of caption, perhaps marking an important date related to the role of the pyramid played as a part of a larger astronomical observatory. Stewart points out that 7 deer, I like how they just call it 7 deer.
That's what it's called, apparently.
Is one of the dates the Maya still used to mark the beginning of the solar year. It's a New Year's date, he says. This had to tie into the function of the pyramid as a kind of solar observation deck in the jungle. And that is literally the entire article.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just read that entire page, like, nonstop. Impressive.
Yeah.
I like deer. Deer are cute. You know, I think that is a very interesting discovery. I think so far a lot of them have not been like up my alley, but this is like legitimately a new discovery that I think is pretty darn cool. This one and the straw one I thought were pretty cool.
You heard the word deer and your ears perked up, all right?
Yes.
We know how it is.
I know how it is, but like this is new information. They think this is like the earliest thing that they found and deciphered. So, and like if they found the whole mural, but they've only deciphered part of it, this could be like a sign of things like to come, like saying, hey, we're learning new information, like we discovered something new. I like that. That's neat.
Do you remember back in the day when everyone thought the world was going to end in 2012?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Do you remember that year?
I do remember that year.
Do you remember having slight anxiety that the world actually was going to end?
No, I remember thinking it was stupid.
And so I remember that right before we went on winter break, because I remember it was supposed to happen in December, right? It's like supposed to be December 21st or something like that.
Yeah, along those lines.
But right before we left for winter break, we had a dance in my middle school.
Yeah.
And the middle school dance ended by everyone hugging each other and saying goodbye.
Oh my god.
Most of it was a joke. Like, we were joking, but I will always remember, like, everyone hugging each other and, like, taking pictures and being like, goodbye, because the world's gonna end here in, like, 2 weeks, so we can't see each other anymore.
That's actually kind of creepy, not gonna lie.
It was very creepy, but most of us understood that it was a joke, but, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, what if it's not a joke? What if we all die?
I'm glad it was a joke. I'm glad you're still here, Trace.
Well, what if the world ending was just interpreted wrong and now we're still living in the end days, and that's why everything sucks?
You know what? Based, actually.
And, like, COVID was just another one of the plagues that the end of the world has decided to lay upon us.
I mean, that would be biblically accurate, but when have we ever cared about the Bible?
Sadly,
That's a lie.
way
I'm
too
a Christian.
much.
I'm just trying to be funny.
No, I think this deer hieroglyph is funny. It looks more like a bull to me than a deer.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at it. I kind of see what they're going for. It's kind of got the floppy ears and the antlers, but I don't know. I'm sure the archaeologists know more about how to interpret ancient murals than I do, though.
E2, 7 deer.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. Tomb of the Craft Workers.
You just went silent there. Are you okay?
Well, because you started to interrupt me again.
I'm sorry.
And
we're on a podcast. Our role is to fill time. And if I feel like you're not, I didn't think you were going to talk right there. So I started talking. And then you did talk. So I'm like, okay, I'll shut up. And then you shut up. And then we had dead air. I'm like, you know how this works. You can interrupt me at any point in time. Dead
air isn't as scary as what you think it is. At the site of El Castillo de Herme? I'm pretty sure I pronounced that.
Is how I'm pronouncing it.
I pronounced that perfectly.
Yeah.
On the northern coast of Peru, a team led by archaeologist Milos Giers of the University of Warsaw has unearthed a tomb containing the remains of a man who occupied a powerful position in the Wari Empire from AD 650 to 1000. The Wari controlled most of present-day Peru, relying on a combination of military aggression and irrigation projects.
Those are two very different strategies.
It's like, we have the warriors and the farmers to make sure this empire works. No, actually, this is very cool.
Yeah, I like this. This is neat. They just straight up found a new guy.
Yeah, they were like, this man? Have you seen him?
No.
And I have never heard of the Wari Empire in my life.
Me neither.
That actually sucks. It sucks that I've never heard of this.
Yeah. God damn, there's a lot of just erasure of history, due to American colonialism.
So, this is something. The high majority of high-status men in Wari iconography are portrayed bearing weapons. The men, as well as the women in this tomb, appear to have been highly skilled craftspeople. Ooh. The man in the bundle was buried alongside textiles, painted leather, and baskets in different phases of production. Archaeologists also found a range of raw materials to make baskets, including reeds, colorful cotton and wool threads, cords of various sizes and colors, and balls.
Balls.
Of resin used as glue.
Okay.
But no, that's actually really cool.
That's neat.
Finding an entire tomb dedicated to what seems to be artisans of the society.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. It shows what they value, you know?
The man in the tomb was found wrapped in a mummy bundle with the remains of 6 others in chambers nearby. Likely another man, 2 women, and 3 adolescents whose sex has yet to be determined. Non-binary.
Non-binary. We love
They're
them.
all non-binary.
Hell yeah.
They were obviously members of the elite because we found them buried with important artifacts, gold and silver ear spools, which were elite regalia. What? This is so cool.
I like that, yeah.
You tell me they found a whole other tomb of an empire that I'd never heard of before, which I knew they knew of the empire.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I hope that this discovery makes the Wari Empire more known. Because I think we focus way too much on the Greeks and the Egyptians, and there's a whole bunch of other ancient civilizations we could get out there and hear about, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's neat that this is, good information about something new to the... obviously, they knew they as in the collective whole of humanity, someone knew about this, but like it's neat that it's now being thrust into public conscious, hopefully. You know?
Yeah. And
it's also neat that they... What?
The remains show indications of serious physical disability such as bone loss due to osteoporosis, lack of mobility, and severe tooth decay.
Honestly based. They didn't brush their teeth. That's kind of hype.
These conditions, says Geertz, may explain why the men in the tomb were unsuited to be warriors.
Okay. I mean, if they were still considered valuable enough to be like buried alongside this royal, I think that just means that this culture had a strong priority of craft workers as opposed to just focus on war. And I like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah. That's a neat thing to think about, you know?
It's like the newly discovered tomb is the first to include high-status warry male craft workers.
Yeah.
I choose to believe they were gay.
Possibly.
I don't know. I want little queers in the past, okay?
I mean, they're dead, so...
I can imagine them just in the past with their gay lovers drawing furry porn on their little tablets and enjoying life, and then they got to be famous, and that's what I think it is.
Love that. I mean, that would explain a lot of Egypt now, wouldn't it?
Egypt was that.
Egypt was
I'm
nothing
thinking
but gay furries.
That the warrior people were also just a bunch of gay furries.
Hell
and I choose to believe that in my heart.
Good, as you should. Shall we move on?
Yes, to the origin of cities.
Ooh. Where?
The traditional model of early Mesopotamian urban development holds that cities were compact settlements that expanded out from a central monumental religious complex. Okay. However, a recent remote sensing survey of an ancient Sumerian city of Lagash in present-day southern Iraq has established that it was composed of several discrete sections, each bounded by walls or waterways.
Oh, okay. So it's not like the city's propped up around, around temples and whatnot, but more just that
they had bureaus.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I mean, it's cool. It's not really interesting. I mean, it's interesting if you care about city planning.
That's true.
Yes.
I just think it's neat to know that like cities, even back then, have functioned similarly to how they do now, with like distinct separations within them, but still being considered part of a unified whole. That's kind of cool.
I think it is kind of cool. I mean, also the fact that it's coming from like Sumeria means that it's as old.
Yeah, like early Mesopotamia, like some of the earliest cities.
The results revealed that some of the people of Lagash was days early to the early dynastic period of 29,000 to
2900 2900 is what you're trying
2900 to 2350 BC.
Gotcha.
So that is old.
Yeah, that it is.
But yeah, cool. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's just city planning. And you know what? I don't like city planning.
Don't you play The Sims?
Shut up.
What do we start off this episode talking about?
The Sims. Okay, I've never played City Skylines in my life.
Okay, fair.
Like SimCity Skylines. No.
I have never a copy if you want to play.
No, it does not interest me.
Understandable.
But
have a nice day.
I am also laughing because I made a singular neighborhood specifically for like the characters that I created. So I did plan out like a section of the city a little bit. Yeah. And I love like building the buildings, which is why I love Minecraft.
Makes sense.
But I don't... Calling me out on being a secret city planning lover, I guess.
Look, I mean, hey, I got to. You've called me out for many things on this show so far.
Oh, like what? Tell me.
Remember the furry episode?
Okay. I asked before I could say anything.
You did, but you still called me out. Cough, cough, Gudra. I remember.
Cough, cough, Gudra.
Hey, it's okay. I'm fine with it.
That's what my Gudra doctor says.
Cough, cough, Gudra.
Yeah, they'll be like, okay, turn your head and say cough, cough, Gudra.
I love that. All right.
Next, we're going to talk about religion.
Of course. As archaeology tends to turn to.
Oldest Buddhist temple.
Interesting headline.
The region of northwest Pakistan known as the Greater Gandhara
Nailed it.
was a
Perfect job.
crossroads for the exchange of goods and culture among the civilizations of Middle East, Central Asia, and India from around the 6th century BC to the 7th century AD.
Gotcha.
One of the most significant, but that is a long fucking time.
Yeah, that is a very... Yeah.
That is like 1,200 years.
Yes.
One of the most significant belief systems carried across the region was Buddhism, which was found in northern India between the 6th and early 4th centuries BC. In the Gandharan city of Barakat, archaeologist Luca Maria Oliveira of goddamn, get a smaller name.
Holy shit. Names are hard, okay? That's
Anyway, this makes it the oldest known Buddhist temple in the region and places its construction firmly during the period when Barakat is known to have been the center of Buddhist teaching and a sacred pilgrimage site.
cool.
Am I
That's
doing like
pretty
a good like David Attenborough voice here?
Not really, no.
Do you feel like you're watching a documentary at all?
No, not even close.
Because I can't pronounce the names right.
No, that's not why.
No, I mean, this is cool. The remnants excavated thus far include a 10-foot high apsidal. What is an apsidal structure?
The lack of ability to pronounce is not helping the David Attenborough impression that you're trying to go for.
With a circular shrine was later erected.
Hot.
I'm gonna be later erected if you know what I mean.
Shut the fuck up, Trace. Oh my god.
I had to. All right? The joke was right there.
I understand.
No, I mean, it's cool that they found a really old Buddhist temple. I mean, the little statue heads that they have here are really weird looking.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I get it. I like it too. That's pretty neat. Anywho.
What, do you not care about my little Buddhist structure?
Not really.
Oh my god. You liked the straw.
I like the straw, I like the Mayan calendar, I like the tomb. None of the rest have really been that interesting to me, I'm not gonna lie.
This is the oldest Buddhist structure, and you're telling me that you do not care.
Yeah, kinda.
What?
I don't know.
Explain your reasoning. How do you not care about the oldest Buddhist structure, but you care about the metal straw?
What? Because metal straw funny.
You know what? Fine. Moving on. Ship at the bottom of the world.
Yo. Ooh, hello.
The wreck of legendary explorer Ernest Shackleton's ship Endurance has been discovered nearly 10,000 feet underwater at the bottom of the Weddell Sea off the coast of Antarctica, where it sank in November 1915. The 144-foot-long, three-masted ship was located 4.6 miles south of its last estimated position by members of the Endurance 22 expedition under the auspices of the Falklands Maritime Heritage Trust.
Okay.
So they just found a really fucking old ship in Antarctica.
Well, you say really fucking old. 1915.
Yeah. That's old.
That's pretty old, but I'm surprised.
Why?
Usually,
What's surprising
when
to you?
You think like archaeology, you think thousands of years in the past. This is just barely over 100, and that's neat though. Like finding, especially in Antarctica of all places. Not a lot of things happened there in 1915.
You can imagine. I believe back in 1915, Antarctica was like supposed to be this great expedition because everyone believed in the center was like beautiful, fertile land that they could use and conquer.
Oh yeah, didn't they think the Garden of Eden was there for a while?
I'm pretty sure some group thinks the Garden of Eden is like everywhere.
That's true. That's
like,
very true.
The Church of Latter-day Saints thinks the Garden of Eden was in Missouri. So, and I can tell you, I've been there. It's not very garden-esque. But
yet,
have you heard of that? Like, there's like this really, really old map that they found, and like, it's. People are like, look, it has Antarctica on it before Antarctica was discovered. And they say that that's like proof of aliens for some reason. No. And you've never seen this?
No, I haven't heard of this at all.
Oh, well, it's like this map that I believe was somewhere in the Middle East.
Okay.
But I can't be 100% sure. But it was some like really famous old-time cartographer that had a map that people were like, look, see, it has Antarctica on it, so it has to be like that people were traveling all over the world back in the day. The aliens were there, that they showed them these maps and helped this man make these maps. And when you look at it, there's a mysterious island continent that is also missing from this map. Can you guess which one?
The Americas?
No.
No? Okay. Australia?
It was Australia.
Oh, did they just misplace Australia and make it look like Antarctica?
So back in those times, they had not completely sailed around, and like I believe this is what they said, is like they had not completely sailed around Australia, so they thought it was a lot bigger than what it was.
Okay.
So they just placed it at the bottom of the map, and it looks like Antarctica, but it's just Australia.
It's just Australia. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, and this map was like made after the discovering like of the Americas.
Yeah,
but they also weren't like made completely, so like their maps are also off, but that was understandable.
Yeah.
But they had not discovered Antarctica yet, so everyone was like, "Oh my god, aliens!" for some reason, because that's the logical jump that we have to make.
Yeah, obviously.
Is that it's aliens.
Anything weird has to be chalked up to aliens, as we all know. As you being an alien fan, no.
Yeah, as anyone watching the video can see my little alien poster that's right behind me. Yes, I like alien stories.
Last time you said that it wasn't even on camera.
Yeah, who even knows if it's on camera this time after you cut the video?
I mean, you should. I don't crop off it. You're recording it 4:3, so I don't crop off anything.
Oh, okay. So then there, it's right there.
Yeah.
But no, I guess they just finally found this ship, and honestly, it's kind of cool. I like looking at the pictures of the ship.
That is pretty neat. Yeah, I agree.
Like,
this is a cool one. I like the ship at the bottom of the page. Like it says Endurance on the underside of the ship. It's just like jellyfish floating around it. That's cool. I like that.
It's very funny that the ship's name was Endurance, but they could not endure the cold of the Antarctic.
Hey, you know what? Can't blame them. Neat. This is a cool one. I like this.
You know what? I got you with 3 of them, and 3 is enough for me.
4 actually, because I think
4.
There were 4 that I enjoyed. Yeah, I like the straw one, the earliest Mayan calendar date, the tomb, and the ship. That's a good collection.
40% is still a failing grade, but at least I didn't get 0.
It passes in my heart.
And that has been the top 10. Do you know of any other discoveries that happened in 2022?
Absolutely not. Oh, you're asking the audience, not me. Okay.
No, I am asking you, but I mean, I guess the audience. Do you know of any other discoveries that were made in 2022?
And now we just sit here and wait for them to respond verbally like it's Dora.
Yeah, we just stare into your soul for a little bit. I would say my favorite one is the straw, just because it is funny.
It's very funny.
But as someone who really loves learning about Egypt and ancient Egypt customs, like looking inside the pharaoh, like in Amenhotep's sarcophagus, is actually really cool to me. Just it's like a neuron activation in my little nerdy brain, because I get to be like, oh my god, he had gold. Like,
oh my god, he did have gold.
And it's just so cool to me. I don't know. Like, I think archaeology is one of those things that is so fun to learn about, because the fact that there are so many things that we just don't know, like the fucking statue of Venus that we've had for like 100 years and we never knew where it came from. And now they're like, let's blast it with some fucking particles and we'll know exactly where it came from.
Did they say what particles they blasted it with? I'm kind of curious.
Okay, let's see what they blasted it with.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm not trying to... Okay, use a technique called high-resolution microcomputed tomography.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think they say exactly what the particles were that they blasted it with. But it almost looks like a heat map, which is very funny. Also, if you look at like just her body, it looks like the big tits are like eyes and her belly button is like a little mouth. It looks like a frog. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It says tomography is not blasting with particles. It's more blasting with waves. So it's basically just X-ray. They X-rayed an artifact.
Okay, so they X-rayed, but I mean, X-rays. Is it a wave? Is it a particle?
Well,
the argument
objectively speaking, a wave is not a particle.
That's not
Light.
objective anymore.
Really? What are you talking about here?
I believe here recently people have been discovering that waves may just be elongated particles. Like there is even more fuzziness now in that debate than there was back when they were talking about light.
Are you talking? No, you're specifically talking about light waves, though, not sound sound waves or anything.
I am talking about all particles, all waves and all particles, like all of them. Like even sound waves may just be a particle.
I would be hesitant to believe that, but I can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you saying that scientific advancements you don't trust, you old man?
Well, I'm saying you're saying the word might a lot, and I'm not sure I believe that you're phrasing this correctly.
Because it's very new, and I'm just pulling from the recesses of my brain.
Okay. I'm going to look into this more after we finish recording the episode to see if I can understand what discoveries you were talking about. How about that? Is that acceptable to you, Trace?
Sure, fine. Wave-particle duality is the concept of quantum mechanics that every particle or quantum entity may be described as either a particle or a wave.
Yes. That's been known for a while.
But it's not like that. It's like, I don't even know if that's what I'm talking about, but it's like, it's because, you know, that one experiment where they had the slits and they were able to observe and like the fact that like the particles would behave differently versus whether you were looking at them or not looking at them.
Yeah.
And I believe like somehow they were able to use that to like prove that like the fact that waves are possibly just particles that behave in a wave-like fashion.
That you're talking about the experiment from the 20th century.
Yes, but they looked at it again and found different things.
Okay.
Which is why when you're like, oh, they just did something new to something old, I was like, yes, we do that all the time and we find out cool things about it.
I'm not sure that you're relaying this information accurately. I think I'm going to have to see more about what they actually did, because the fact that they just did the experiment again and for the first time in however much time, I'm not.
They didn't just
maybe I'm
do
misunderstanding
it again.
what you're saying. That's what you said.
I know. I'm saying they did it again, but they didn't just do it again and be like, we think this. Like there was more to it. Like they were able to observe it in different ways. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Like, I'm a little hurt right now that you don't believe me.
Well, I'm autistic and not sure I understand things. I'm easily confused and I want to make sure I'm on the same page because you're not communicating this in a way that I comprehend at the moment.
You know what? Join us next week when we talk more about gay shit.
Yeah, that honestly
and drugs.
I thought you were going to say join us next time. We're going to figure out like this. No, we're not. We're not going to remember this by the time we record the next episode.
No, we're not going to remember.
We're going to be talking about horny gay shit. That's the whole thing.
We're going to be talking about this I don't know, latex kink or something when we come back.
Where did that come from? Actually, we were talking about
we were talking about what did you say?
We were talking about mummies.
Mummies? That's mummies and latex.
Imagine making a latex mummy. That could be hot.
As everyone knows, all pharaohs were famously into latex.
They liked being wrapped up and tied down. Hey, you know what?
Not tied down. Thank you.
Encased, entombed.
Nightmare scenario. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please comment down below.
If you enjoyed the episode, go see a therapist.
What?
This ending in particular has been wild.
Yeah, honestly, if you enjoy our show at all, a therapy might be in the cards for you.
True.
Leave a comment if you have a discovery or if you just want to tell us that you think the statue of Venus is hot.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Give us a rating, and thank you for listening. I'm going to go learn more about waves and particles.
We're going to go figure this shit out. We're going to go become quantum scientists. Bye.
See ya.